This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social. I'm here in London at the workout ahead of Harlem Eubank's fight this Friday night. Same as the England game, he gets his first opportunity to main event. Quite an exciting one really, because we got sort of terrestrial TV that Channel 5 offers, and there's also going to be a break for the football. So this is a real one that sporting fans can indulge themselves into.
It's a big sporting weekend. I mean, there's some great boxing fights on, and we obviously kick it off on Friday night. Straight after the football. So based on yesterday's performance, you can probably turn off at half time because we've been that good. But then again, I just saw Saudi beat Argentina.
Did you watch the game? I was watching it on the train, and I swear to God, I could not take my eyes off it.
And I thought, can I make time for Argentina versus Saudi Arabia? It weren't top of my list. And when they went 1-0 up, I thought, right, that's done. But, that's sport. Let's hope we don't get the big shock on Friday night with Eubank Farrell. It's a really well matched fight. It's just great to have Harlem on as a Eubank as the main event, but he's really earned it. Charlie, if you look over the year, you followed his shows and the way he's gone up, and he's earned. It's so nice when fighters really earn that position as main eventer, live on terrestrial on Channel 5 in a great fight with Farrell, so I'm buzzing to see it. It's going to be an interesting night. You're all cool. Going to be a big night in there we're going to have the football on, have a break. We're going to have some early fights, football, and then go straight into the main.
Well, that bar's going to be tempting.
Yeah, I'll be buying a few pints. We'll see how many I can drink because obviously got Nathan Gorman on the night after as well. So big weekend.
Look, Kalle, I've got to ask you, with the whole thing of the World Cup, obviously I've got you on WhatsApp. First thing I noticed, you've got a German number. So are you sort of half root in England, half root in Germany? What's going on?
I pulled the England flag when I was a kid. It was like, the old man's obviously German, so we've had a few disagreements over the years. But no, I actually went to all the England away games in my youth. Had a lot of fun. England away trips. I remember Euro 2000 in Belgium and Holland. That was probably the pick-out moments. So no, I definitely have to stick to that. I can't chop and change it. So. It's not one of them when England go out and Germany get to the final, I get the Germany shirt on. No. You won't find any pictures of that.
Look, on Harlem again, is this his opportunity to sort of cement his own name now in the Eubank legacy? He appreciates what senior and junior have done, but he wants to make his own name now.
Yeah, I think, all the Eubanks have their own personalities, and they're all very strong personalities. Harlem is by far the easiest going. He's a very, very easygoing guy, but at the same time, he's got the similarities of Junior in his approach to the sport. They live it, and it's Senior as well. I didn't promote Senior, but having known Senior for many years now, their approach to the sport is pure dedication. He lives it, breathes it, the same way that Junior does. Very different characters outside the ring. They get on very well, obviously being family, but at the same time, very, very different characters outside the ring. But real skill, and still developing skill. You see the way he's stepping it up. I remember we signed him last summer. He had his first fight under us out in Latvia on the Myris Breeders card, and he was a bit rusty, But then he's gone along and he's been active, sharpened his tools, and he just gets better and better. So he's really earned this main spot. And Tom Farrell, tough opponent, So it's we're in for a good fight.
How far onto Junior now? How far are we away from maybe seeing that this Liam Smith fight that's being spoke about for Sky Sports? How far are we away from this being signed off? Do you reckon?
It's been announced.
Supposedly.
Yeah, I heard it was announced. No, joking aside, we're in talks. We're in positive talks around that fight. Like I said a couple of days ago, if you're in talks, it's not agreed, is it? So, but we're getting there, getting close. Stay tuned. It's a big fight. Big fights don't get made overnight. At the same time, it was also a decision for us internally. Clearly that Ben situation is ongoing. They seem very confident. Monitor that for the future, but at the same time, we need Eubank out now, and that's why it'll be a very fast announcement for a date that's very soon. And yeah, it's a great fight. It's a tough fight.
It's a brilliant fight. Look, just another one on Junior. You mentioned Conor Benn's name. I know sort of we've gone through it time and time again. There's so many things, I can't just ask.
In a long time. Well, I mentioned that name before.
I know.
You mentioned it.
Well, yeah, because it's almost like people have sort of understand that it's not on your side and it's now Conor's legal case. It's not going on. It's not even necessarily on Matchroom side as such. But from the conversations that you're having with them, do you imagine if Conor is proven to be innocent or whatever the legal proceedings be, that fight will be remade?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a fight that's huge. We just have to think about Junior now and obviously fighting Liam Smith and beating Liam Smith. That's got to be all that's on our agenda now. If that fight gets made, like I said, we've still got to make that fight. But at the end of the day, Ben fight, should it be cleared, doesn't go away. It becomes arguably bigger. In fact, arguably bigger, I said that in a politically correct way. We all know it's a bigger fight. So, yeah, absolutely, it's one that will happen.
Is that team that you're speaking to, do they seem confident in Ben's legal process?
To be honest, look, we obviously speak with Matchroom regularly. We have a lot of different, fighters, deals. We got a show to fight together this weekend with Nathan Gorman versus Fabio Wardley on Saturday night for the British heavyweight title. We worked together on Hergovich. We worked together on quite a few different things. So, but it's not. I'm not calling them every day and asking them about Ben. I'm not so sure how much they know. I think that. Yeah, and I think that. It's Ben. It's a personal case. It's not a Matchroom case. So often those questions I think they need to be directed more at Conor Benn, but at the same time, Conor Benn will be under very strict instruction of what he can and can't say, I guess, from his lawyers. But look, I'll be looking to a crystal ball. If we would have known that there would be a certain date and he would be 100% cleared, then we probably would have waited for the Ben fight. But that's not the case. That's why Junior has to fight. He's in the prime of his career, and we need the big fights. And if that's going to be Liam Smith or someone else next, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. Look, let me ask you about Senior. I know that you don't really have any contact even with Senior himself, and that the contract is obviously with Junior. But a lot of people have been alarmed at some of the videos that have come out of him. I know that he's quite an outgoing character, but people sort of wondering the state he's in mentally. He's also said that Junior doesn't want to follow his way and he's trying to follow a Floyd Mayweather way or something like that, and that he shouldn't be looking up to Floyd. What do you make of it all? Because it's all very conflicting, and I think people are a little bit actually worried about Senior at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I think most people have seen the interviews. At the end of the day, I'm a huge fan of Senior's since he was a fighter. Also, when I've done my discussions over the years, and they've been very intense discussions with Senior. They've really been on a very good basis. I really like the man. He was a hero of mine growing up. But in terms of what he says about Junior and what that relationship, I've never gone near it. I never will go near it because it's a father-son thing. I'm a father to a son and to a daughter, but it's something that I wouldn't comment on. I wouldn't get in between. It's between the both of them. I think that Junior has very much improved as a fighter, obviously over the years. If you look back to his first fights and the way he's improved throughout his career, the things that he's said, well, I guess they'll chew over together, and it's not really for me to get in there. I can just say about Senior is, for me, he gets a lot of stick out the boxing world sometimes, and I think people have to remember what Senior did in the ring for the sport and attracting millions and millions of viewers to that sport with his showmanship. You know, a lot of people thought he was this arrogant guy. Other people loved him, but he drew an opinion. And he was an absolute warrior in the ring. You know, and I wish him all the best. You know, I see him, I do see him as a friend. After so many years of working with him, talking with him, at the same time, I have utmost respect for him as a fighter and as he loves to say, a warrior.
Well said. Look, let's move on to a lighter note. Misfits that you just had last weekend. I would say lighter. I feel like Misfits is the name that perfectly sums it up, to be honest. It is absolutely mental. Anthony Taylor turned up, doing what Anthony Taylor does. Chinned Dylan Dennis. I mean, I saw Nissa, there's a video of Nissa saying, "Put your fucking cameras away." I texted him, we had a little laugh about it. I mean, it looked like carnage.
Well, it was, because I didn't see any of it. In fact, I didn't even see Anthony Taylor out there. He was fighting on the streets of Dubai the week before.
I did see that as well.
He's trying to make himself a bit of a Derek Chisora of the YouTube world, I guess, but, you know, calling people out and doing this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, we've got a very big main event with Dylan Dennis taking on KSI, of course, and that's gone down very well. It was an interesting. It was interesting. I'm still getting the coffee out of my hair as we speak. It had a lot of syrup in it. So one thing we do know is he takes a lot of sugar in his coffee. Got that all over me on the Friday at the weigh-in, and then we had the face-to-face and ended up having the Texas National Guard. It's not often that you see the security turning up with shooters in the ring. Let's put it at that stage, I advised them to stop. But it was a good old wrestling fight between them in the ring, back and forth, and I put a picture out. I was actually next day, I woke up and my whole arm was like totally bruised from. What I didn't know is that Dennis is a grappler from Bellator as well, so he was grappling me on it, but I didn't notice it because the adrenaline was going. The next day I was seeing, I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. So I had some explaining to do to the missus when I got home on why I had so many bruises around me. Went down well. At least I had some video evidence of how it happened. Say no more.
On the Misfit stuff, you know, it comes across as this sort of like carnage to us in the boxing world, but as we've spoke before, there is a real market for it, and it is something that does really, really well. How long is your contract for the Zone and this Misfits thing with Mams and KSI?
Well, there's two different things. Mams, with KSI and Mams, we have a company together, so that's a fixed relationship. It's a company, but in terms of the Zone, we're working tremendously together, and I expect that to be a very long relationship. You know, we're working now already on 004, which is of course KSI Dennis, 14th of January, Wembley Arena, which will go on sale later this week, and then we're going to have 005, 006 in the UK, looking at Leeds for February. Hopefully involving Mr. Zanetti, my friend. And then
little name drop there.
Yeah, little name drop there. All right, Tom. And then going back to the States in probably March. That's a little bit timeline in the head. That's not set in stone. But you see that it's on a regular basis. One thing I was a bit disappointed on Sunday when I woke up and I saw the different clips going viral of the face-off and this, that, and the others. There was one. I saw one clip go out of, I think it was Chase Demore, who looked terrible. Like he missed the punch, sort of fell over, rolled over, whatever it was. Of course there's that element. They're novices, yeah? But there was also an element of, if you look at the main event, which was Walid Sharks against Dean the Great. Walid Sharks is a 3-time Golden Glove winner, right? But amateur. So the level of that fight, go watch that fight back. Watch a man get off the canvas twice in a proper fight, fit on any pro card in the United Kingdom. Go look at that fight, and then tell me there's not also that element in there as well. It's all, the thing is, it's Misfits. Some of it is absolute tross, which makes but it is fun viewing. But they're novices, so don't knock them for being novices and trying the sport.
As much as it may be taking a few years off your life with all the stress of it, are you enjoying it?
I've got to be totally honest. I love the unexpected. And those shows, I just don't know what to expect. So that, of course, is great fun. Yeah, and, you know, the people in that scene, they're on the one hand, you've got to make sure, they got their ball protectors with them, that they got correct boxing shorts. I remember one guy turned up, he wanted boxing a pair of jeans. But, there's that element to it. And then you're mixed over with, like I said, Golden Glove winners, guys who have come out of the UFC, out of Bellator, etc. So I don't know if you saw Greg Hardy against Hazim Rahman. You haven't seen that fight, go watch the second round of that fight. Fantastic heavyweight scrap. I mean, absolutely fantastic. So you've got that element of the real sport that pops through, but really you need to see it as entertainment, because it is mad. It is like, the lunatics running the asylum. And I was having all sorts with a commission out there, because they're like, we've never seen this before, like people running around, and I'm like, oh my God, the security, we doubled up on security then for the main night. And yeah, it's obviously a lot of, that world is about, trying to make yourself get more reach, bigger, etc. And they're motivated to do crazy things, including throwing cups of coffee all over moi.
Do you intend on... I saw that Anthony Taylor had been signed to Happy Punch promo. I'm not too sure what that is myself, but I know he sort of comes around and causes havoc. If you can maybe keep him on the side where he's not causing trouble every fight week, is he someone that you'd maybe like to get involved?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the good thing about this world, where the influencer boxing, YouTube boxing world, is that it's a bit different to normal boxing. You can sort of
do outrageous stuff and not get as penalised.
But if I had Anthony Taylor, it'd be nice. If I didn't have Anthony Taylor, it wouldn't really make much difference. It's replaceable. Happy Punch is a company that we work together with on a lot of the fights. So we've had Anthony Taylor on. We had him on in Sheffield. So I'm sure we'll be on again. I didn't like the behaviour. I think there's a limit to it. I think the coffee getting thrown was a bit stupid, a bit silly, whatever. Have I seen that at a normal boxing fight? Yes, I have. Right. To take it out in a car park and assault a guy is like that ain't good. And if you saw the clip, actually, my brother was saying the cameras off and stuff like that. What he was trying to do was actually tell him, and he said this in a very, very loud way, was stop or you're all not getting paid. And that worked. So we know the magic ingredient. But look, we've had water guns pulled at press conferences. But then again, in boxing, I've had tables thrown over me at press conferences. So, yes, there is that ballyhoo to it. There is that WWE element to it. Is it funny? Is it fun? Does it get views? Yeah, absolutely. If you don't like it, don't watch it. But clearly people do.
On that note, I think we're done. Kalle Sauerland, thank you very much for your time. 18 and a half minutes banked. See you Friday night, geezer.
Cheers, Charlie.